Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wind and Thunder Gaming. Back by popular demand, we got the Hemlock Rejkva 3v3 tournament analysis coming up. I'd like to first off start by thanking all my loyal watchers from the competitive scene in Goyo. Thank you very much for sticking around this long, and I hope my analysis continues to stay relevant to you guys. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump into it. These VODs are, of course, provided by Imagine42, who streamed half of the tournament, while me and Brick Hardcastle streamed on the other. His Imagine's co-caster was, of course, Fade Dragon Tier. You can find him here on YouTube at YouTube.com/Fade Dragon Tier, I believe. Anyway, if you search for that, you'll find him. He does some old style video game playthroughs, I believe, and a bunch of different analysis videos for anime and whatnot. But okay, let's jump into it. This game is that impronounceable phobia of ducks. I've shortened it to Anat. Versus the Merry Marauders, a Corvus Merrymen hybrid team. There we go. Learning English as we go. So here we go. I know you're already surprised. It's like, oh my god, it's first season back and he has his overlays on straight. I know. Please. Thank you. So here we go. Let's get into it. Okay, you know what? This is a shitty starting point. Let's go back a bit here. I thought I was in somewhere completely different. This is very interesting. Okay. Man, trying to see the positions off just this stream was a little bit disorientating. We got Lucky Duck kind of moving along the east side of the map on this picture in through here. They're gonna just camp this spot and start brawling with the Merrymen. That is what's happening there. Forgive my poorly drawn lines. That's not something I gotta. The Lucky Duck is literally driving backwards here, which you obviously see. He's trying to keep his long range side out because he knows there's a potential that they'll be straight there once they as soon as they pull up. So they eventually end up getting here. Eventually, let's see what happens. Dirty Duck gets pretty aggressive. Man, he got way too aggressive. You saw that Spire? Got a bit too overzealous and ended up getting put down. That's one tactic which the Merrymen used to their advantage quite a bit, using the Spire as a kind of bait tool. Being like, oh look guys, there's a Spire. You guys should try and jump at it. And you see the Pyramidians always rush, just butt rush them. Just, man. But then, you have a Galleon and a Junker in between you, and I've been talking to Zell. He said they practice collapsing and protecting the wizard or a different Spire. But yeah, that's definitely something they practice for. So like penetrating this, we saw it with the Quack Street boys. Jace just being way too over aggressive in those games. I found going for that Spire and just fruits of his labor were lost. Can't tell if that's turning or ramming. Really bizarre hitboxes. Still starting the fire on the Mandarin Mallard. Wizard's just trying to get behind this pillar. Is this balloon out? No, okay, he just forgot to turn his engines off or something. So I'm not sure which team is flaring. I know we have dual Merc Junker with 2 Gats and a Flak on the right, I believe. Yeah. The teams like to keep their snipe sides consistent, so if the Galleon puts snipe side on the left, you'll see all the other ships put their snipe weapons on the left. Pyramidian has them on the left. Junker will put them on the left, just for the sake of continuity. In the next game we do, which is Anat versus P&S, you see a conga line kind of forming, and it's a very kind of dynamic formation, I guess. Yeah, that's the best word. So a bunch of brawling. This Spire's got to be so careful. They're so brittle. His armor's down and he just gets absolutely torn apart. That Hwacha, I would have almost liked to have seen. Okay, we'll talk about this play. This is an awesome play. Um, I would have liked to have seen another flak on the then it was rebuilt. I mean, his I didn't see the Hwacha paying off how much space it was occupying. The Hwacha, it's a good disabling weapon, but every time I saw it fired, it didn't end up disabling. We saw a lot of shots go off from Pyramidions. That wasn't disabling the front guns. It was being a really real pain in the ass. Um, in the newest patch that was released today, 1.3, you'll see a bunch of laser sharp, accurate Hwachas. So they'll be able to start using burst. So let's talk about this duck play. While Blue was distracted shooting into this cavern, they completely forgot to watch behind them, so the Dirty Duck completely got the drop on him here. And we all know Smollett's team is highly, highly aggressive when he's not playing defense with the Galleon. And man, did he punish Blue for not being that aware in this situation. There goes the Galleon, and then he's providing a window here. I'm wondering where the spire is. I think it's back there. I'm not entirely certain. Anyway, he's giving the team an opportunity to move up. I can't remember whether they take it or not. Holy man. Okay, so Blue ended up pulling up. I missed a kill in there somewhere. So I think they ended up taking out the Blame Doug. So Blame Doug is the third kill on the board here. A wizard, managing to supplement perfectly with Blame Doug, ends up putting down Smollett right after here. Watch these big flak hits. Lumberjack comes in. Still got to be very careful piloting here. Gets a bit of a bad bounce. That could have been completely avoided, I believe. But yeah, those flak shots just raining in, taking him down. That might have just been purely the spire in hindsight. See this Hwacha, look. The Mandarin Mallard, nothing disabled. See, it's occupying space where it could be another really highly explosive weapon. But yeah, that Hwacha, this observing man. I love you, Imagine. We had a chat about this. So spastic. He's everywhere, man. So Mandarin Mallard is getting way too far forward here. He's got to get back. I mean, a 2 Carronade Galleon that could potentially strip the ever-living shit out of your hull is not something you really want to fuck with. And the Duck, this massive pipe is kind of obscuring at least his Lumberjack shots. I mean, his flak shots may be fine. But again, there's 3 people. The Mandarin Mallard needs to get the hell out of there, which he realizes and starts backing up. Then it was rebuilt, laying those Lumberjack shots in effect with that flak shot raining in from a wizard. It's kind of funny because in the future games you'll see the wizard's gunner kind of start choking. It's like, all they need to do is land this flak shot and they'll kill him. And all you see is these big flak shots just flying right past all the ships. And it was kind of hard to watch a couple times. So, I mean, that's just something that comes with pressure. It might have been a fresh gunner. I can't remember who's gunning for the wizard. That's not a personal slight or anything. It's just something I noticed. It's Mandarin Mallard trying to get out of here. But, his balloon's taking a bunch of hits. That sniper fire raining in from everyone. There goes his armor. Can't remember. Does he get away? I think the spire still has an angle on him. Ooh, yeah. See, these high pressure shots are the ones that Wizard missed the most. But overall, the spire as a whole, maintained their very defensive position. They'd come out and poke, and they would recede back in, being very, very cautious the entire time, which is what they needed. They needed to act as bait for the blue team to collapse on, and then they needed to supplement damage while the Galleon or the Junker was tanking. Very, very high level play from Merriman in all their games. So we see red team setting up to snipe, hopefully, or trying to bait blue team into this area. But man, you'd have to be some kind of stupid to come up here, which Merriman can very well do. This game's like an hour long, so I'm trying to keep it short, but I know I'm just elongating it. Dirty Duck getting way too far out here. I would almost like to see him passing through the cavern here, just going through there, trying to get a different angle, going into those clouds. The blue team had it flared most of the time, so that wasn't a very viable option, but it's better than just sticking your head out way too far to a heavily entrenched team. Like, he stuck his neck out. Dirty Duck, died like 3 times. Not entirely certain. But yeah, okay, so this area here was a large epicenter for all of Duck's movements. They entrenched that position. They managed to sneak up with Smollett. Blue team probably thought he was going off just to repair and licking his wounds, but no, he had just died, and he was not returning to their entrenched position, but he was it wasn't returning to his entrenched position, but he was moving around through the middle. This way. Or sorry, this way. I think they end up coasting back to the valley. And then this is where we see a very bizarre sort of snipe match where both teams are kind of sitting at the flight ceiling just trying to arc shots over the middle canyons. They're just trying to dodge all this stuff, try and get angles on each other. But yeah, it's very difficult. But yeah, the Lumberjack has ridiculous range, and it's not that difficult to try. Well, okay, it's very difficult to shoot cross map through canyons at each other, but you'll see them just kind of up and down, poking out, and then going back down and licking their wounds. So this is why these games tended to take so long, especially on these larger maps. Fernfeld was another long one. Holy shit, that map, man. I was expecting a kind of brawly team, like they were just going to meet on one side. But no, they played really defensive. They used that arc on the western part of the map, I think. Well, we'll get into that when we come up to it, which is our final game, I believe. So yeah, both kind of teams just in a standoffish position. 4-3. I gotta remember the score so I don't skip too far here. Okay, this is blue team. I was like, I thought this was Squash's galleon for a minute. I'm like, oh sweet Jesus. Okay, so they're right here, I believe. They're gonna coast up the west side of this map. I think they end up getting to about mid and then just trying to use the canyon as cover. That kind of sit in this middle, pivoting around and just kind of poking shots out. And it seems to work pretty well for blue, and then I think it culminates in a final engagement that goes really intense. So yeah. Sticking together. I mean, that spire's a bit far forward out here. Probably kept them middle to back. Yeah, being very cautious, you can tell. Pushing up very slowly, they don't want to be walking into any ambushes. Galleon goes first. Man, Zil can tank in that thing. That's how he ended up beating Polaris and Sodom twice. Okay, so here we got this engagement culminating in the middle. The most high-level gunning I've ever seen in my entire life is on this map. The most narrow sniping possible happens on this map through like canyons. As we can see here, we got Lucky Duck just shooting through there at I believe the Galleon. Dirty Duck sinking just below, so they can't really get an arc, but if blue team rises higher, then they'll end up getting shots on the duck. As you can see, they got that flak and lumberjack. I think that was lumberjack. It's a bit of an arc. Mandarin Mallard has to be so careful. He's kind of slinking into like opening fire. But yeah, you see those Merc shots raining in. Lumberjack raining in response. Oh, sorry, flak coming from the. That Spire's rocking Merc flak and Artemis. One of the rules in this tournament, I think it's important to note, is that no ship repeats. Okay, that's how fickle a Spire is. That Lumberjack flak just dying from the Lucky Duck and a bit of piercing damage from the Mercs. Ended up tearing it apart. So yeah, should have been playing a bit more defensive. I'd have liked to see Zill up there instead. You have to be so careful. Dirty Duck's gonna try and go around. Focus on the okay, so again, blue team kind of being more protective of their hind end this time. Not gonna get as sloppy. We see then it was rebuilt, moving in response, but he's not gonna end up firing. I don't know if they can see each other. No spots were going down. Like how they're keeping that flared. They're super paranoid now. A little bit of mind gaming from the red team, I'd think. Well, unintentional mind gaming, that is. Like, but the fear got in them once from sneaking up behind them. They're going to be looking behind them the entire game. Okay, so a bit of a lull in the battle. I'm afraid to skip far here. So we got the Spire sneaking up, got spotted. Gotta be super careful. Look, these really narrow lanes, and you still see shots going off on them. Crazy good gunning from both teams. Just managing to sink behind this pillar, break the arc. Zill's turning his carronade side here. I wonder what he was going to do with that, because if he flew in there, they'd have all been dead. I mean, he could start tanking and trying to pierce damage with, well, not pierce damage, but like flechette, which also does damage to the hull once you get to a certain point. All this, like these narrow arcs just firing at each other. That Hwacha, again, I think is not worth the spot it was occupying. If you wanted a Hwacha, you do a Hwacha carronade on the right. There's a reason Squash builds his ship like that, because it's good. As much as Zill likes taking a dump on the metal. Oh, they got a couple kills while I wasn't paying attention, apparently. Sweet Jesus. Or was that a long time ago? I don't know. Man. No, okay, so they just slinked back. So we got ducks moving to the east. Yeah, okay, they just decided this was a really shitty way to initiate. I think they ended up pulling back. Super awkward spread of ducks. Okay, never mind. I know what they're doing now. They're kind of setting up this bizarre like 3-man. You got one here, one just behind the Spire. Might be disorientated. Might be no. Okay, and then you have the galleon like right there. So you have this like eastern kind of push going that way, and then you have the ducks kind of spread out along this front. So it provided a kind of good poking angle, because the Spire has a lot of cover that he can dodge in behind. And the Lucky Duck got really far out of position here, and then I think the Dirty Duck went for a charge over the top. I'm John Maddening this and making it really convoluted, but hopefully you followed that. So you see these two ships trying to come around the northwest. You have these two narrowing their arcs greatly. Super beneficial to the blue team. So we're just gonna let this play out. This video is gonna end up going long, kids. I hope you're here for the long haul. So we got Dirty Duck just trying to get arcs, but he's just being very he's opening himself to quite a few gun arcs. Like all the Blame Doug needs to do is turn his left guns, get those mercs, and you have the wizard firing. So right now we got Zill, who was trying to tank for the wizard. Just get in front, try and block some shots, because Galleon can tear that apart. You see drogue shoot being used by Zill here. Very important tool in this fight. I'd attribute a lot of his plays to that, because it alleviates pressure off his engineers so that they're not worrying about the little balloon quite as much. So I like the fact that he took a drogue shoot. But yeah, okay, so we got these three ships lining up. Dirty Duck. From what I can remember of watching this, I gave it like a couple run-throughs. I think the Dirty Duck ends up just getting a little bit out of position, and blue team ends up punishing him for it. Can't quite remember. I think it's just through this one lane. Big Hwatch barrage. A gun disable. See that Hwatch, man? To make it effective at long range, you have to use heavy, which takes a lot of the DPS out of it, and then the captain's just got to do a little bit of vertical maneuverability, like something like hydrogen or shoot vent, just to shrug either damage off on the balloon or just dodge the thing entirely. So look, the red team's getting really spread out here. The nice thing about having your ships all up in a clump is you can try and distribute damage by body blocking. I love body blocking. Oh my god. Ooh, nerd chills. I do a lot of that when I'm capping. If I see my teammates under a lot of pressure, I'll end up body blocking. Dirty Duck, a lot of fire. Galleon flak. He's got to be super careful. Breaking that arc with this pillar. Excellent play. But I think he ends up just hiccuping like momentarily, and it ends up the Pyramidion. The Pyramidion is super, like, pretty tanky on the list of ships, but super fickle, I would say. Like, it's pretty brittle. Takes a lot more to, at least I feel like it takes a lot more to regen red on a Pyramidion rather than a Junker. I feel like that's why the Junker is such a good tank, because I feel like the rebuild time shorter. I could be completely wrong, but there's something to the Junker that just gives it that durability that the Pyramidion just doesn't have. A bit of a standoff. I'm so afraid to just skip because I feel like shit's about to go down. Smollett, there's a crack in this arc you really have to watch out for. You could just feed bullets to someone through it. Skipping ahead a bit. Lucky Duck getting pretty out of position. 1v3ing, like, his teammates are way off to the west, if you look at the map. East, if you're looking at this frame. But man, okay, so it wasn't the Dirty Duck, it was in fact the Lucky Duck. 3v1ing while his teammates did not have any arcs. What the living hell is Mandarin Mallard doing out there? He might be trying to, like, choke off anything coming from this general area, but all of blue team was concentrated in oh god, mouse accuracy, but this area right here. So yeah, that was unneeded. Now they're like they blue team just ended up taking out the person with the highest hull, and these two ships are still really fickle and almost broken. All blue needs is an all kill. That's all they need. They just need to take this team out once. And these two, my firing priority would probably be like Pyramidion, Galleon, Junker. Junkers are so durable. They always manage to tank me out. So we got another bit of a standoff, and they're gonna go flight ceiling, kind of snipe again. Being super cautious. Man, I was so surprised that blue team managed to make any assaults from mid, like where they're sitting right now, this area. Okay, so I thought it was this area. Okay, it's the one lower. Yeah, managing to actually form an assault from there. It's amazing. Amazing play. Okay. Now, now I got this map right in my head. Even though this is, I think, the last game. I have to cast on this. Because it goes... This... What's Water Hazard Fjords Frontfeld. So again, standoffish. Neither team is... Okay, so... I casted some 2v2 scrims the other day. And, well, not the other day, a couple weeks, months, about a month or two, a couple weeks ago. And it was Merryman versus the Ducks, but it was in a 2v2 scenario, same map. And what we ended up seeing was very weird builds from Merryman. But something that was interesting that I saw the Ducks doing is they never let their enemy get comfortable, like in one spot. They took the kind of really defensible approach, but they were smart with it, and then they kind of went on a more aggressive stance. So they would like push up while blue was trying to plan, and then they would just kill them before they got a chance to actually think. Like they didn't let them get comfortable is the main thing that they prevented the other team from doing. And I don't think that's something we saw very much during this game. Like they ended up very kind of, I feel like they were a bit scattered. Maybe like that 1v3 that the Lucky Duck got into was pretty bad, not gonna lie. And the Mandarin Mallard was just kind of sitting pretty far out, just trying to prevent people from getting out there. Because camping. Easily the longest match I've ever played. Well, would you go... Like, okay, let's put this in perspective, right? You're in a ship in the sea, right? And it's the HMS Victory, right? With like 100-gun broadside. Would you go fucking sailing straight into that? No, you wouldn't, because you're not an idiot. So guess what? These games and naval engagements and even air / naval engagements going to be the exact same way. It's going to be very cautiously played because running into a bunch of guns is a terrible fucking idea. It might be better, it might be funner to play, but it's definitely not the smarter play. So then it was rebuilt, sinking around this corner, getting kind of cut out. What the hell happened to that water barrage, man? It looked like it was hitting half the pillar, then it's limit, and then it still managed, like a missile or two managed to hit the Lucky Duck. That was super confusing to me. Might have just been a bit of a leg spike. I don't know. So okay, we got the Mighty Ducks here. So surprised we haven't seen a team called that yet. So blame Doug. Like if you move and you're even remotely visible, they're gonna see you. They're definitely gonna see you. Wow, super ballsy from Wizard. Just okay. So this is why it's super ballsy, right? Like, because if you're sitting here, you have to physically turn your ship very far left and then back up to get behind this cover. Like, you gotta be super careful. But he does have this pillar, so he's just waiting for them to kind of slink a little bit forward. And blame Doug does the piercing damage. He brings the flak in, still gets a bit of that Hwacha, a little bit of Lumberjack off, and then manages to kill pretty quickly. Dirty Duck slinking out. If any of them get really far out, that Hwacha just out of range, man. Again, flak. I want to see a flak there, man. Call me old-fashioned. Old Papa with his scotch and... Back in my day, we put a fucking flak on the side, god damn it. Mm. Man, the wizard is just waiting for that shot to kind of appear in this field of view. Zill's just kind of testing water. Zill is definitely the kind of prodding ship in this situation, as dirty as that sounds. He's the one to go like very vulnerable here. Poke. Gets his head shot off a bit. He's like, nope. Okay, slink back down. Blame Doug and Wizard very much entrenched. So I feel like maybe if Red could have exploited that somehow, like while Zill was wandering, they could have pulled off a win here. Not entirely certain. Blame Doug now. Now they're kind of fanning out to try and do a pincer. Zill's very much got all of Red's attention now, so it gives Wizard a chance to pop out with that extra flak damage, and Doug a bit of a chance to supplement. So this was a very, very nice way for Blue to use their momentum. But he's got to be super careful here. He's right now he would be saying on team chat, he's like, be careful, I'm not ready to pop out yet, so get in position, we'll pop out. Blame Doug taking shots, not completely unaware, but he is punishing the ever-living shit out of Duck, who managed to kill him with Wizard. I feel like the flak had something to do with that, and there's no way two Mercury cannons managed to pierce that much, I don't think. I could very well be wrong, man. Again, we'll watch it like, oh, managed to get a couple hits off on the balloon. Again, okay, Dirty Duck, I don't know what the living fuck he's doing right now, but he should stop. He sees that spire, and he's got blood in his eyes, and this is a terrible decision. This is so bad. If he manages to get this spire kill, he's in between two ships, so it doesn't matter. They'll still be even anyway, right? Man, he's gonna get punished. So okay, look, he's so smart for not going in there. A lot of people when they get they just see red and they're like, I'm gonna fucking kill that spire, right? Didn't do that. Very smart decision. But we'll see Zill and Blame Doug pop out and start punishing him hard. And then the Wizard, now that their focus has changed, he has a chance to pop out and add that flak. Lucky Duck, man, God, Red is so spread out here. They need to kind of consolidate and make a concerted effort. Like there are lanes of arcs way varying. I mean, if Lucky Duck and Dirty Duck have shots, Mandarin Mallard is sitting right here, not getting any shots. Now Dirty Duck and Mandarin Mallard are all their own, and Lucky Duck's way off on the west point of the map, like around in this area. Or sorry, east point. Nailed it. Okay, so here we go. Dirty Duck again getting punished for coming out so far. Lucky Duck not there to assist at all. Getting super punished for that. Wizard's got to be careful. Does not want to stick his head out because there's a potential for these two ships to get two arcs on them. And it's just spire bait at that point. Like flak will destroy because of the three piercing guns and the lumberjack. Man, so much potential for the Wizard to go down. So yeah, he had to be super careful. Oh my god, okay, this right? Oh my god, he could have used this so easily. I mean, at this point, Red was at such a disadvantage. It was either group up quickly, or we could have seen spawn from Lucky Duck where he just exploited the get behind them again fact, right? Like, I sincerely believe that if he went just highly aggressive from that spawn, that he would have been able to utilize it and get maybe a spire kill off, provided we saw the galleon and Junker move into that general area. I could very well be wrong. He could have moved in there and just got slaughtered, but still, there's that slight chance. I feel like they were at a pretty big disadvantage here. But yeah, I'd love to see him sneak behind. I mean, Wizard's on this pillar, so maybe it wasn't that good of a decision, but I'd love to see him sneak up on someone. Just if these two ships went into aggressive mode and Lucky Duck was the one tanking, like just a little bit, Dirty Duck came up behind him, just supplemented. I think that could have worked. But this is just speculation. It's all heat of the moment decisions, and ducks are top echelon. So I'm really just throwing vague critiques out here that are based purely on speculation. So I think Dirty Duck ends up getting really aggressive because at this point he's not sneaking up behind them, right? He's going where their guns are facing. If he comes around this corner, watch this. There's a reason Mandarin Mallard are cutting off their gun arcs. I mean, he was playing Big Brother here. He's like, man, I gotta protect the Lucky Duck because holy Jesus, he's getting torn apart right now, right? But right now he just made himself so susceptible to all the guns from blue team. That was a very, like, look at that. Look at that. That's flak damage right there. Tore him apart there. Tore him apart. So yeah. Could have seen a tad bit better play. I would have liked to see more consolidated formations from red to try and push from one angle, or like completely try and do a pincer like they did in the first engagement where Smollett completely tore blue apart. But the only problem with that was they were in their spawn, so by the time it was finished up, two other ships spawned and just tore Smollett apart. So yeah, I mean, for blue, having had initiated in red's spawn and having pulled that off was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to fix my overlays and yeah, be right back. Hello and welcome back. I know, I'm using the red overlay for once. So here we got a game. We have P&S, that's Polaris and Sodom Company. The FOS is their Atlantic. And we have Anat Phobia, who faced both of these teams actually faced the Merrymen and got knocked into the losers bracket. So both of them have a kind of common enemy. So I find that kind of funny. Nice tournament story. This game got really weird. Ended up devolving to the point where they played Ring Around the Rosie for a bit. And the Ducks ended up feeding. Make no mistake, I mean, Mandarin Mallard and Captain Smallon wouldn't try and 2v3 unless they got really tilted. So we have blue positioning themselves here. But they got so spread out. This is kind of a theme. When teams spread out, they can't body shield for another ship, so they have a very rough time. And I think FOS Sarah ends up falling here. Yeah, he's getting absolutely torn apart. She, I guess. The Sarah. Well, you know what? It's a ship. Yeah, here goes the FOS Sarah getting a bit out of position. I was surprised we didn't see the Aquarius fall. He was even out of position. He needed to fall back behind this pillar, which I think he ends up doing. But Lucky Duck gets some bad bounces, which knock his gun arcs off. So a little bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, it can be very difficult when wind is pushing you. So if he was just positioned here, wind would have pushed him and then knocked him that way anyway. Oh yes, Sarah spawning over here, moving to regroup, which was the right decision. And both teams kind of hunkered down for a bit. Lucky Duck was not having a good time here. Let me tell you. And the Mandarin Mallard kept hitting this bridge. So he ended up dropping. And the minute he dropped, he just got torn apart by 4 mercs. And Lucky Duck just keeps running into the side because of wind. Man, I'd be cursing so hard on that boat. So here we got blue side. They're using these kind of 5 pillars as cover. Which is a good decision, I think. Like they always manage. Like look at this, you got a 2 kilometer distance in this brawl. That is an insane amount of sniper range. Threes, of course, allow this because they're just inherently bigger maps. Is this where it devolves to Ring Around the Rosie? I think this may be it. Oh, this is so hard to watch. Look at this. Oh, oh, oh. Some shit happened. Okay, here we go. So eventually they got frustrated and they hit it straight for the middle. I think trying to correlate rocks and it's very difficult. I think they're here and then we got red team pushing down from like this general area. I could be wrong and disorientated, but I think that's how it's going. So red is at a severe hold disadvantage. I'm surprised they were being this aggressive. They want to let their junker sit back and get some sniping off while the Galleon and Pyramidian kind of tanks. Pyramidian, as we found out, is quite a fickle ship. Or at least my opinion. Just arcing those shots a bit high. Squash, of course, uses all Australian gunners. Taking a bunch of hits. I'm surprised we saw Sarah come back here. I mean, his armor went down, but I think the Galleon would have went down a lot faster had it sat out there. And this is where we see Squash crash. So right now, Morblitz is panicking, getting on the hull. Dirty Duck has no backup in sight. Mandarin Mallard is moving in to help. The Dirty Duck ended up getting torn apart by a 3v1, and now Mandarin Mallard is committed. So he's boned. This entire ship's just out of commission. I mean, as soon as they saw this, I'm surprised we didn't see P&S Company jump on them a lot quicker. And it might be exploitative, but there's nothing you can really do against that. Why not use it to your advantage? So, Smollett's trying to like draw fire just to let these two kind of regroup, because if all three blue people jumped on them, they wouldn't have a chance in hell. And now this is like Smollett is the reason they stayed in this game, because I'm pretty sure they brawled with Aquarius like 3 times and came out on top like most of the time. I mean, he is kiting, but he's kiting against a lumberjack, and there's those flak shots, man. Beautiful brawling, 1 for 1. And yeah, the Aquarius definitely had more support fire there. So. The only thing I can see being enacted rule-wise is like it'd be hard to enforce, but just being like everyone get off all their equipment, and that'd be like called by a ref. But then you run the risk of people not seeing the chat and ignoring it, or like getting out of position and then arguing. So it just adds a whole bunch of convoluted shit. So I doubt that. Yeah, these games definitely went long in the 20-minute category. So this is when we see Polaris smell blood in the water, and they're just like, okay, so they're at an inherent disadvantage. Finish this up quick while one of their captains are gone. And Dirty Duck just managing to avoid all three of these ships beautifully. I think now he's beautiful. This beautiful play from Small. He's cut off two of the gun arcs from Volpez and Sarah, and now he's got a lone brawl with Aquarius. There's squash, or lack of squash rather. But Small's done a very good job of kiting Blue away from the Lucky Duck's position. See, way too high here. Way too high. I don't know why he went that high. I mean, you're just opening yourself up to these two ships. Should have stayed around mid, because he knows he can outbrawl Aquarius, man. His gun timings are just inherently better, and those lumberjack shots just flying over. Hollow. Andrew Mallard pushing a bit up. So it's 3-2. Volpez ends up getting hurt pretty good. Aquarius. Surprised we're not seeing any spots go down on the Lucky Duck. Those flak shots all just going wide from both boats. Andrew Mallard, I'm wondering why he committed. Perhaps a tactical feed. I don't know. Like, this is what I'm talking about, junker durability. Look at that. Andrew Mallard's still up the armors. So hard to get down on that boat. Aquarius ends up sneaking up on Smollett. At this point, they're I was so sad to see Ducks just throw this game away. I mean, they could have had it. Uh, you have to kind of admit that asking for a restart after a match has been going on for 15 minutes. And, yeah, after a match has been going on for 50 minutes and kills have been done to a round of power outage, that's kind of unreasonable. You can't. Like, these Russians are up at, like, ungodly times, like 4 a.m. in Russia and Ukraine and Belarus and wherever else they're from. Very mixed nationalities on these boats. So expecting them to hang around any longer is just ridiculous. See, so this is where the game kind of stabilizes, and Red could have very well just grouped up and tried to advance on the position. But instead we saw Charon and Smollett just dive in for like no reason. Like, Smollett's smarter than a 3v1. This was obviously a throwaway. It's saddening. Or Charon and Smollett, rather. kept brawling with Aquarius and winning. It made me laugh. This flak, desperation flak. You can tell mistimed a bit. Won all the other brawls. Flew it down. No. Ducks definitely could have came back from that. Charon, man. Yeah, they should have just regrouped. That was saddening. So P&S moves on to face the Merry Marauders in the finals. See you in a bit. Gonna fix my overlay. Okay, so let's get started. We got P&S versus Zill's Merry Men. Or rather, the Merry Marauders. God damn it. So, we're going to see them try. I think Blame Dog sticks out around here, probably more towards the bottom mark. It's located here. And then we see Zill and the Spire kind of taking a trench position there. The red just kind of gets a flight ceiling around this bridge, which kind of blocks them from Blame Doug. I don't know if Blame Doug comes around here at first. I think we see him goes out there eventually. Spire getting killed before it even makes it to the arc there. That's just a problem. You gotta be so quick and careful. We're seeing that bridge block those shots for red team. Very smart positioning. I could be wrong. I could be getting a wizard and Blame Dog mixed up, but I get pretty sure I'm right. Then it was Rebuilt's job is very much to tank. They want you to focus Galleon, so that the Spire has room to do whatever it wants. But if you end up focusing the Spire, then they end up trapping you and baiting you. So if you can kill it from far away, that's much more agreeable than running in there with a Pyramidion, which just fails miserably, as we've seen multiple times. Merry Marauders demonstrating that they know this collapse technique that just completely tears that apart. I'm not sure what side Blame Doug's using. His merc should be on his left, so that's a bit confusing. If he put his flak on the right, I am curious as to why that was. So again, red team using that bridge and this ice pillar as cover. Very brilliant. Nice little entrenched corner in the position in the corner. Then it was Rebuilt, just poking its head out, having some problems. Wondering where the wizard is. So wizard ended up coasting around the back here to meet up with his team. So we see red team moving. I wonder why that is. Could be just trying to get gun arcs, break blue team's gun arcs. They might be looking for the Spire 8 now, which had time ready to go all the way around. Volpez loves sitting at that flight ceiling, getting some arcs. You can just get around the shoulders of that arc, provided you're a good enough shot. Wizard, I think, managed to get here unsighted. I'm curious as to why they gave up that entrance position. Maybe they just weren't comfortable with it anymore. This is way more open in my opinion. Safe cloud cover, which could just be nullified by flares. But I don't know if the blue team even has flares. I don't think they do, unless it's some obscure spot on the spire. So we got the then it was rebuilt, coasting out from that arc. For whatever reason, I'm not entirely certain. Wizard tucking behind. Staying entrenched. Very surprised we didn't see like coming around this side or going under. Very strange. Very, very strange. The spots go down. Both of them. Blame Doug is out to dry here, man. He does not have a lot of choices. But luckily for him, red team seeing that spire pop its head out automatically focused him. So Blame Doug got kind of lucky there. I mean, at this point, red just has the pick of the litter. They could go for Blame Doug and then try and pick off the spire. They could pick off the galleon and maybe allow Blame Doug and the spire to regroup. But still, 3v1ing either Zill or the Blame Doug was a very viable option. As we'll see them pull off right here. Or do they send the Aquarius out? Not quite doing enough to break through to the FOS Sarah's hull. That Hwacha man. That Hwacha man. I mean, this is I guess what their mindset would be, right? They're like, okay, so we have a flak with the spire. We don't need another flak. Might as well go for a bit of disabling, grab the Hwacha. But man, Hwacha did not do a whole lot of anything. Yeah, Volpez, 3 reds just collapsing on Zill here. I almost think going for Blame Doug was the better option, but then you're leaving a galleon with a lumberjack and the spire with flak to potentially tear you apart. This is Volpez dealing with that flak gat from Shinkurex and the flak from a wizard. Just trying his very best to get out of Gatling range, doing a very good job. Aquarius collapsing on Blame Doug, then it was rebuilt, spawning back there again. What was that hit marker? Just saw a hit marker appear on the top of the mountain. This game was very bizarre for glitches. Blame Doug switching targets. I believe he should have stayed on the Volpez. A wizard. A wizard died at some point. Wait, did I miss that entirely? Where did... Okay, so Aquarius switched to the wizard, ended up killing him off, and then switched to the Blame Doug. Volpez doing a very good job of kiting the both of them, just managing to stay alive there. I was wondering what happened to the wizard. I'm like, how did he get full health? A bit of a oversight in my end. That lumberjack, you saw it chip away, but man, those 4 flak just absolutely tear at the hull. Sarah now has inherited the job of kiting Zill. Not something anybody wants to do, really. Aquarius is going to be running in here. Now there's a glitch that happens where Zill doesn't end up spawning, which is very bizarre, but red team already knows where blue is. Shank is behind the camera right now. They end up getting Zill and then just heading for the spire, which I think is the right decision. I mean, it was so cut off from its teammates at that point that not a whole lot it could have done. You have 3 ships collapsing on you. Zill would have probably spawned somewhere ridiculous. They're lagging. They're losing members. Man, this is a very rough game for the Merry Marauders. That's for sure. Twitch loading the video. There we go. Yeah, Corias and Volpes just jumped on the wizard and finished him up for a quick 7-0 victory. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you next game, where we find out who won this final. If you're watching this, you probably already know. But yeah, I'll see you on, what map is it? Fernfeld. Oh my god, Fernfeld. Man, that game took forever. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back. This game involved blue team entrenching themselves kind of on either side of the middle here, this kind of general area. And then red team kind of coasting in and around here, or kind of around that concave, trying to pick shots at each other, but blue ended up having the advantage because red team had to shoot through all that scrap, which was fairly difficult. There's this middle divide right there, which has a bunch of scrap. That's of course the howitzer that we see right here after I get rid of the map. Right there, that big ol' howitzer. So this consisted of me and Brick damn near falling asleep. It's not discouraging either of these teams, but man, they were playing cautious. So there was one engagement in particular we're going to talk about that kind of happened when red team coasted around in this area and blue team was in this general area. They kind of fought over this mountainside. So yeah, that's a thing. So here we go. Press play. Okay, so here's what happened for like 90% of the time. They kind of just poked in and out from behind this arc. This arc ended up being the this arc here ended up being the climax where me and Brick just went ape. we're just yelling a whole lot. Oh god, that was a good time. See, so we see blue moving back, and then they spit insults at each other for a while. Well, not really insults. Okay, so here's this engagement that I was talking about. One where they kind of fight over this ridge. Or maybe not. Okay, they slink around. They're just prodding. But by that time, I think, yeah, they slink to the other side. They love using this middle part as a defense blocker, if you will. Continuing. Let me see, red retreat again. They were all here for a while. Huh. Did I actually get that backwards? Maybe it was red team on that side. I'm not entirely certain. Not gonna lie. Caster's amnesia flows strong through me, man. As soon as you're done casting, you're like, what did I just watch? I can't even remember. That's why it's really easy to critique casters, but it's a pain in the ass to actually do it good. Okay, so maybe I was wrong. There's a bit of a lag spike every time I go and fast forward the video, because this video is literally 4 hours long. If you can see this timestamp, there's 2 hours, which is at half. Okay, so blue team chasing him around this way. Oh yeah, this engagement. I remember this engagement. They end up using this rock as their primary source of cover. It does a pretty good job. But every time the Spire tried to do anything, it would just get picked apart. So that's why we saw Zill pull up behind this rust bucket, because he was trying to draw their fire and tank so the Spire could actually manage to do something. Fast forwarding to when this all unfolds. Okay, so but yeah, those 4 Merc cannons. 5 if the Volpez decides to use his Merc cannon instead of his Lumberjack. At this range, it was getting so ridiculous the Lumberjacks couldn't even hit each other. Like 2 kilometers, 2.5 from here to here. Each one of these is 1,000 meters. That is. So yeah, they're trying to use this arc. A bit of Derek's nice little leg spike there. Holy. Trying to let the Spire get some working. Okay, I think I'm just gonna fast forward to the end. Kills down. Brawl, brawl, brawl. Very, very far sniping brawling, man. Sniping brawling is on another level. Like, it can get so intense. Like, if they're shooting at you and you want to coast behind cover, there's a very good chance that you'll die before you get to that cover. Like, you have to be so careful and plan out what you're doing ahead of time. You have to very much be thinking ahead. Okay, so this is where Guns decided to. Okay, so here we go. Tickle fight, doubt it. This game kind of continues on. It's me rejoining like a champion and coming right back to the same sniper fight. Blue ends up sinking back here. Here, I believe. So Merry Marauders ended up going mid, sneaking 2 ships mid, and then it was rebuilt, maintaining most of their focus. But you see the fact that red is kind of getting ready to turn. They're very wary, you can tell. And once they saw them there, that was kind of the end of that plan. They managed to tear the Volpez apart here. Wizard has to be super careful. He's at half hull here. But they do end up making the Volpez die. Yes, come on, hello. I can't remember. I think first kill in 45 minutes. Yeah, there we go. Just managing to chip away that piercing damage, being supplemented by the flak. Again, flak gunner on that wizard likes to kind of miss quite a bit. See a bunch of his shots coast. At least that's what I noticed when I was casting. Again, smoked. Then it was rebuilt, deciding to coast to mid. Volpez ended up getting a lucky spawn. That Hwacha finally doing something, anything. Was it the Hwacha or was it the flak from a wizard? I'm kind of curious now. Come on, go back. So Aquarius. Was it the Hwacha? I can't tell. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so Volpez getting absolutely torn up. Aquarius is gonna sneak up on the Spire. I love that tactic. I think anytime you sneak up on a Spire, it's a brilliant decision because it's so hard as a pilot to be able to look behind you. I mean, it's kind of your hull engineer's job to look behind you on a Spire, but he is so preoccupied by camping that hull that it can be really difficult for him. The captain did a very good job of maneuvering in such a way that it probably gave quite a bit of time to for that gave quite a bit of time for that hull engine to do other things. Yeah, you can see Blame Doug and a wizard realize that the Aquarius is going to be start coming up right behind him. Blame Doug ends up trying to help, but Aquarius, peels through that tinfoil hull, ramming it, just evaporates. Then it was rebuilt, laying it down on Volpez, man. That Gat, that was also another really interesting choice. Gat instead of, I don't know, Field Merc. For the amount of long range that Merry Marauders played, I would have liked to see Flak Merc. That FOS Sarah supplementing that piercing damage quite a bit. You'll see the Merc shots rain in. But Zill's trying to break arcs with this hill here. Good play. Blame Doug trying to sneak up on the Aquarius, get some extra fire down. Volpez moving to shoot at the Blame Doug, try and get him out of the fight. So very bizarre, but Zill not quite able to hold down under that pressure. I'm curious as to what FOS Sarah was doing. Pull out over here, maybe get some extra shots on these two blue. Holy lucky ass spawn from Zill, let's be honest here. Lumberjack shots were raining in. Blame Doug not really caring, its balloon not taking a whole lot of damage. Rolling with the Aquarius, trying to back up to his teammates. He did not make that. So this is being very interesting. I mean, he's poking out in such a way that he can poke at the Aquarius, but he's keeping the other two ships out of his gun arcs. So it's just such high level piloting. You have to have such good awareness. A wizard getting those flak shots off. A little bit in vain, their armor's up. Blame Doug getting that same kind of oil derrick spawn. That's very convenient for blue team. I mean, I think red, when they ended up having to spawn, they spawned cross map in the top right. But that allowed Aquarius to get behind that spire a couple times, which ended up helping red team greatly. That Hwacha, man, that Hwacha. It was rebuilt using that drogue shoot. Again, very, very nice use of tools. Trying to alleviate some worry off his hull engineer when they're brawling. That was rebuilt. I like to see them brawl here. This is where it got interesting. Now they only have an arc in between them and they're not that far. Armor goes down, trying to slink behind that arc. Does he get the chance? Oh, the lumber raining down. Okay, we got the wizard cutting arcs in such a way that he can get shots off on the FOS Sarah, but he doesn't have that flat cat raining in from him. And there it goes, it starts, they're aiming at the hull. Gotta watch out for the lumberjack, he's backing up, trying to bait the Aquarius in. Aquarius getting over eager, man. At that point you got about, 750 meters. Gotta be careful, ends up slinking, but man, he overcommitted. He went way too far out. Which I hate to say during a sniping match, but hey, it's true. Volpez is going to be raining down, trying to keep then it was rebuilt balloon down, but he's taking flak fire, so he's going to end up, again, look at this frickin' spawn. Whenever the Aquarius spawns, man, Wizards got to be really wary, because, you know that it's going to be coming right behind you if you're not careful, and I think that's where we see the next kill. Unless it's Zill. Zill is getting pretty far out. I kind of want to skip, but, That was rebuilt, managing to stick his nose out pretty far, and here we got Aquarius sneaking up behind that a wizard. I always go to say the, the Vulpes, the Sarah, the Aquarius, the Blame Doug, the Then It Was Fixed, but the a Wizard. Again, he ends up taking that out. He out of I can't tell if that was skill or luck that he ended up switching targets. He's like, man, I just can't commit, or if he ended up aesthetically looking at the ship and realizing the galleon was weaker. Can he end up getting a Watcher barrage though? Actually, never mind. That's his carronade side. So he's gonna end up getting torn to shreds by a carronade. There goes the balloon. You can just see this carronade start chipping away at the armor. FOS Sarah starting to pull around, start getting those mercs off, apply more pressure. Then it was fixed just getting that armor back up. Man, my nose is itchy. Holy. Blame Doug now taking the brunt of the fire from the FOS Sarah and Vulpes. Aquarius still has yet to turn around. Did I miss something? Okay, I missed something. What did I miss? Okay, there it is. Vulpes ends up getting taken apart by that Hwacha, finally doing its job now that they're in close enough quarters to use that thing properly. Wizard trying to push up. This is where things started to get intense. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on Aquarius. FOS Sarah's way out here. Gotta start backing up, going this direction. Try and get shots off of that away. But the question was really, can FOS Sarah complement enough? Yes, they can against the galleon. Now they have to tear that spire apart. They got Vulpes coming in behind. You see those dual mercs just clipping the end. And it was rebuilt, getting a very convenient spawn. Vulpes going to be raining in Lumberjack to a Wizard. Very nice. Maybe try and get the land to do some of your work. It's very much a valid option with Lumberjack. Bit of a leg spike. So over there we still got the Aquarius just hanging out. Again, Vulpes trying to get the land to do 90% of his work. But man, that Lumberjack does so much damage to that spire. Once the balloon goes down, all that damage is being transferred to the hull. Look at that. Now their gunner's starting to get a bit tired. I know it's like, it was, I think by the time this tournament ended up finishing up, it was what, like 6 a.m.? That's very, very harsh. So now we got the Aquarius sneaking in to kill the Wizard, which he ends up getting off. Man, Wizard just raining in those flash shots. This is when we see him start missing. Needs those clutch hits, but man, he just kind of crumbled under pressure. It can be very hard to lead a chunker that's turned vertically. So like you have it here, but it has such a slim profile, it can be very difficult to hit. Very nice tactical play from. Oh, sorry, that was a goldfish rather. But again, same thing kind of applies. It's way easier to hit the broadside of something than God, these hits, man. Zill, this was like a mirror kind of situation as to how they ended up sending P&S to the lower bracket. Now this is where kind of indecision ended up being what was the downfall of Red. Like Vulpes, this guy likes to usually just hang at flight ceilings and just rain down, right, man? He's not doing any of that. He needs to get way higher, rain that down, but he didn't end up, like, verticality there would have helped him a lot keep that fire on Then It Was rebuilt, but he just didn't hold that W button. So we got Aquarius trying to get Then It Was rebuilt, but he's at full armor at this point. Well, almost there. So he ends up getting torn apart by the Wizard and Blame Doug. I think we can attribute this loss very simply to to one, the survivability of Rear Admiral Zill, And the kind of tilting from Volpez, man, I'd love to see him just, crank that flight ceiling. Like right now, he's just kind of sitting there, taking hits from the wizard. Never mind. Those Mercury shots. So yeah, I'd love to see him like come up here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is a flight ceiling. I think it might be because I think you can just get over that edge. So I rescind, but yeah. FOS Sarah. Kind of curious as to what it was doing. Full health. I mean, could have taken out the wizard. I mean, you have that brawl side. There's a lot Polaris could have done. Aquarius, I feel should have ran. Like they way too overcommitted because they felt that one ship was really weak. Aquarius could have easily slank back and just kind of ran away. But that would leave FOS Sarah hanging. But I feel like they could have just hung around the Derek until because Volpez didn't spawn too far away. So I think that would have been the correct decision. Having Aquarius loop around this way, having the FOS Sarah either run back this way towards Volpez, and then this ship would have to come around this way. And I swear that's like the 8th time I've accidentally drawn genitalia trying to show moves. Anyway, either the FOS Sarah could come here, and the Aquarius could have looped around this way, had the Volpez come in through this arc, or around the arc. But yeah. So there's quite a bit Polaris could have done. I mean, they were really tired at the time because they're playing at ridiculous times. Beautiful Russians contributing to our competitive scene. It's definitely some of the most dedicated players. But yeah, Rayman definitely deserved this win. Survivability of the team, managing to take Aspire to the finals, even though it's such a brittle ship. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Anyway, that concludes this week's post-analysis. I'll be back later in the week with COGS Week 1 post-analysis, where I think we saw Polaris and paddling or BFS and paddling, and another team which I can't remember. So yeah, I'll have that later in the week. Feel free to stay tuned for that. Thank you very much. This has been Wind and Thunder Gaming. Please stay tuned, subscribe if you like what you saw. If you like to contribute to the competitive scene, feel free to sign up on the forums, get yourself a team. And yeah, stay safe. Have a good one.